So hi, Only Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Matt.
And I'm Nathan, and we're Ron's car.
and we're gonna ask him some questions today. I'm gonna start. So, what inspired the creation of the band, and what does the band name mean?
So we actually, you guys cut out for a second. Did you ask what the band name means?
Yes.
So we both worked at a little restaurant in Cape Cod called Toast to the Coast, which is no longer with us.
Unfortunately.
It closed down, but we were waiting tables there, and our boss's name was Ron. And we were sitting around on the table and just trying to come up with band names because we had some gigs coming up, just playing some acoustic sets on porches, really low key in Cape Cod. And Nathan was like, Ron's car. And we looked out the window because Ron drove a BMW Z3. So it was like one of those really nice, sleek cars. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. There's nothing profound there, really. So we just stuck and we became Ron's car. Our original band name was the American Yams in high school, which I think Ron's car is a little bit of an upgrade from that.
Yeah.
I would argue that's
Be
a
a little
step
more
up.
mature.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, step up. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you,
A lot of our friends were like, "You got to change your band name, man." So it was
yeah, people and labels and everyone will take you a little bit more seriously
Exactly.
with the name Ron
Yeah.
Carr. Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
with Ron's car. Yeah.
All right. And how did the band come to form?
Yeah, so I was moving into Matt's parents' house in Cape Cod for the summer. Like we said, we were working at a local breakfast place, and we all kind of got jobs there. It was four of us, and we all went to high school together, and we all were musicians. We've played together here and there throughout high school, and we decided to just start jamming out in his basement, and then we kind of started doing that more and more. And then one day we were at the breakfast place, and I was in a conversation with just one of the people who was eating there. And he was asking me about myself, and I'm a sound recording technology major. So I'm a music major, so I have to have a primary instrument and all this kind of stuff and like be proficient in it. And he said, well, do you have people you play with? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I will pay you. I never met this guy before. He said, I will pay each of you $100 I do a show at my house every summer for like a bunch of people around Cape Cod. This summer, it's going to be different. It's going to be mass social distance, but it's like probably 30, 40 people. And I put a show with a local act every summer. And if you guys want to play, like I'll pay you each $100 to play at this concert.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up using that to kind of put everything in motion. And we played that show, and then we played a bunch of others this summer. And then that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, it got us out of our comfort zone a little bit because in high school, under the name American Yams, of course,
Yeah.
we did a lot of pop punk, a lot of rock, a lot of alternative stuff. Like we did a cover of Boys of Summer by the Ataris. So
Yeah.
it's like a very, very different kind of sound. And this guy had asked, he's like, honestly, play a bunch of oldies and goldies or whatever. So he was like, choose that genre. And we chose songs like I'm a Believer, You Really Got Me Now by the Kinks. He's like, I only want you to play the Unicorn song, which is that Irish song, because I think his grandson really, really likes that song. It's one of our guys in an Irish accent and stuff. Lean on Me by Bill Withers. And what was the third one? Do you remember what the third one was, Nathan?
The John Lennon song.
Imagine. Yes, it was
Imagine.
So then he gave us kind of like freedom to do anything else. And we kind of had to totally rethink our sound because the audience we had wasn't really like
Yeah.
the Ataris,
it,
for
yeah.
example, a cover band.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
fair.
so it was a super fun experience. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to rebrand also.
a little bit. Yeah.
Solid. So congratulations on your newest release, 3 a.m. How do you feel
Thank
the
you.
response to it so far? Of course, yeah.
It's been
Go ahead, Nathan.
it's been really good. We started kind of from scratch because we deleted everything before high school, and then we didn't really know where anything was going. So when we decided all moving back in together and start up a project, and then after the summer ended, the two other guys who were playing with all summer went off to college and other things, but we were still living together, and we really wanted to write our own stuff. And then we started writing and everything, and we had to start from complete scratch. We had nobody was listening. We created all the social media for it. We kind of started from the beginning, and I've been posting just pop punk guitar covers on Instagram for like 6 years. So I kind of just promoted it on there like once or twice a month to get a couple followers. And then we released our first song, which we paid like some company like a couple $100, and we got like a bunch of fake streams from it that we don't really care about. And we're kind of bummed about that. So then when we decided what song we were going to release next, and then we started it, we wanted to not really like pay for anything that wasn't actually going to be real. So when we released it and it did as well as it did, which it isn't great, it has a little bit over 1,000 streams, is 300 something views on YouTube, but that's just from us completely.
Yeah.
And like no one's heard of us. So we're pretty happy with how it's doing so far.
Yeah, and it's better than being on those fake stream Spotify playlists. We didn't really know what we were getting into, but it was putting our last song, which is very like alternative rock, on like country tunes and house EDM. So that's how you could just tell it was fake. They just throw you on a bunch of random playlists.
Mhm.
So you got someone going into the club, or like coffee house jazz,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff like that. And it really didn't fit that vibe.
Yeah.
Before we move on, Nathan, I have to ask, does your shirt say The Fame by any chance?
Yes, it does.
I fucking love The
Taste.
Fame. We interviewed them
them.
last year.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
I was
That's
gonna,
so cool.
I was gonna wear my Fame T-shirt. It's like, no, I'm already wearing mine.
So you guys are both The Fame fans.
I'm wearing my
As you
Krusty
should
Krab shirt. Yes.
Oh.
Okay, as
We
you
actually
should
saw
be.
them live in Boston. Yeah, they're great. They're
Yeah,
great.
I saw them on the Andy Black tour in the bowling alley in Asbury.
That's so
The
fun.
That's awesome.
Yes, the bowling
Yeah,
alley.
I'm really into like the pop punk scene. Or I've been my whole life. I'm kind of moving away. Not really. I don't know. I still listen to everything. So, but they were playing at this really small club with Stand Atlantic in Boston.
I want to go to that
And
tour
I
so
text-
bad.
I texted Matt like a couple days before. I said, I bought 2 tickets. I'm coming into Boston. You're coming to the show with me, because he went to college in Boston and I went to college about an hour outside of Boston.
Mhm.
So I get there, we both go in. He had never really heard anything by them, and now he listens to them a lot. So
As you
it's-
should.
Oh yeah, they were fantastic live. They were
Mhm.
great.
Yes. Insane live band. So back to your music. You guys released a music video for this song, and it features the two of you like digging a massive hole into the beach. What was the process like behind that video? The idea for that? What the fuck is up with that?
What's that?
That is a great question. So we were like sitting down, like, oh, we should do. We spent a lot of time on the beach, being in Cape Cod, and like, oh, let's shoot this music video on the beach, and like we had to put some kind of meaning behind it. And the song 3 a.m. is about like anxiety in the middle of the night, or like a panic attack in the middle of the night, just happening over and over and over until finally, I don't know, like 3 weeks later, the panic attacks stop or whatever. So we're like, oh, something deep. I guess no pun intended there, like the whole. But I guess we decided, let's dig some holes on the beach. We filled them in, and a lot of people have asked us about that. They're like, make sure you fill those holes back in, because apparently it's very dangerous. So we did. And we're like, it was kind of like supposed to be this metaphor of kind of two things, like digging your own grave in a way, and just like feeling so the closing of the music video, I don't want to give it away if anybody hasn't seen it, but is kind of supposed to symbolize just complete what's the word, just being overwhelmed and very almost like suffocated, and just suffocated by anxiety, I guess, in that way.
Yeah, and the whole metaphor is that like you're so stressed because you're going through this panic attack, but you're the ones digging your own grave.
Mhm.
Like it's all in your head. Like we're so stressed, all these terrible things are happening, but if you like, it's you're doing it yourself, kind of things.
Yeah, and why aren't you stopping? Like what's up with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I didn't expect that response. I thought you guys were just gonna be like, we just wanted to dig a hole.
Yeah, we're
Well,
just fucking
there's
bored.
something to be said about that. I think that's a big part of it. I
right.
mean, it was a fun process, for sure. What was tough though is like when people were walking by on the beach, we had to try to find like the least crowded beach we could. People thought we were like burying a body. It was just really awkward in that way. They just walk by like getting these weird looks.
Yeah, we had all this like equipment that we were bringing, but we brought it in bags, which was in retrospect a terrible idea.
Horrible
so we
idea.
just walked onto the beach with shovels and then bags filled with these random like huge bags, and then everyone was just like giving us these terrible looks.
You're lucky the cops weren't called.
Exactly.
Yeah, in retrospect, yeah, I never thought about that.
Well, now you know not to do it again. So
Exactly, the music video's done.
exactly.
we can move on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So is there any meaning behind the single name or cover art?
So actually, we like to we don't do any of the album art ourselves. Last one we reached out to a friend of ours for Better For Me, our first single. That was a friend of ours named Cherry. She's a great artist. She's going to college for it, and then she did the art for that. And then we reached out to one of my friends that I've had for like 13, 14 years, who's also like pursuing art in his future. He wants to like start a gallery. Like, hey, we'd love for you to use your own style, listen to the song, whatever, however you interpret it. We gave him the baseline of like what it's kind of about. But his visual representation of that said, hey, play with an alarm clock or something, but really, and play with negative space, but up to you, do whatever. And he specializes a lot with like black charcoal paper or white charcoal on black paper. So he had a lot of the artistic interpretation there, and he sent us that draft. I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect, with like the cords kind of tangled up around the arms.
Yeah.
Because it just kind of, it keeps that almost feeling of being trapped, with this cycle of just waking up every night at 3 a.m. literally for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And at the end of the track, we have the alarm clock fading in. So it's like you finally start falling back asleep right when you have to wake up. So obviously with like getting no sleep, it just gets worse the next day and the next day and the next day. And that's kind of where the name of the track came from, was that it was, so this actually came from a personal experience of mine. One night I woke up at 3 a.m. with like a panic attack, like what the heck? And the next night on the dot, 3 a.m. again. And the next night, and it was always, I look at the clock and it was always 3 a.m. And it just felt like I was stuck in a cycle, So we loved his interpretation of it. He was like, you want me to send you any other drafts? Like, no, just finish this.
It's perfect.
We love this. He's both of these, Cherry and Alden is the guy's name who did this last one. They're both so talented. So we can't take a lot of credit for the art, the album art there. We just kind of said, hey, be creative, and I think they nailed it. So it was a fun process for that.
Hell yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for the single?
So go ahead, Nathan.
I was gonna say we were just in Matt's parents' basement. I had an acoustic guitar, and he was just kind of sitting there. It was literally in the process of these panic attacks, like doing it, and I was just kind of playing around. And I think how we both kind of have learned to cope, since we've both been musicians our whole life, is through music, either listening or writing or creating. So I was just playing around, and he said, like, can we write a song, and trying to like get out what I'm feeling. So I would play a chord, and he's a drummer too, so he doesn't really know about music theory and that kind of stuff, in terms of chords and progressions.
Not too long. I picked up bass not too long ago, so I'm getting there. But still, sometimes our process can be a little tough, where he'll play a chord. I'll be like, hey, go up a minor whole step, like trying to use some kind of terminology that makes no sense. We've gotten better with that.
Okay, good.
You're like, just show me. Show me.
Yeah.
So I'd play a chord, he'd say different, and I'd play a chord until it sounded right in his head, and we'd just go through it until we had like a progression, and then I'd come up with a rhythm, and we kind of went back and forth for the instrumental until it was something that he felt like he wanted to write over. And then he just kind of took out his phone, and he's like, just play this over and over again while I write. And I probably played for like half an hour, and then he was like, okay, we're good. And then we like went from there.
And as cliched as it is, because you hear this all the time from anybody, like, the best way to, if you're going through something, is to like actually talk about it or speak it out into existence or something. And it's like, everybody's like, okay. But it's literally that the writing of this song is what kind of got me out of that cycle. So as cliched as it is, like, oh, just talk about your feelings, but like, it's true. It helps. And I guess singing it and writing lyrics for it helped too.
You kind of went into it a little bit already, but if you want, you could go a bit more in depth. Can you guys tell me where your headspace was while you were creating this song?
Yeah, I mean, I was in like I guess maybe it was work. I was taking like, we were both doing like 6 days a week waiting tables, and it's really I always wanted to like wait tables at some point, but one of the things I was concerned about is just you have to be on all the time, like
Yeah.
very, very, you got to be really, really social. And if you are, you get to see the tip money come up,
Yeah.
right? If you're really engaged with your customers, so it drains your energy, and I think like with that, maybe that's why I started to feel like I was in a pretty anxious place, just kind of an anxious like I don't know, baseline, without even noticing it. And it was really funny. Like at the beginning when we started working, because neither of us had started like waiting tables till the summer. I would like tell my friends tell Nathan, the other guys who were living with us and working there, like, yo, any of you guys having like nightmares about like bringing the wrong food out to the wrong table and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like it's like all those stupid little things. So I think that's kind of where it came from. And even though it's hard to like, I don't want to say like that 3 a.m. is about like restaurant anxiety in any way, because it's not. It's just, I guess that's kind of where the anxiety came from. Just being on all the time, and not really giving myself enough time to like actually relax. And then, like I said, it's that cycle where when you don't get enough sleep, it just, and you're like worried, like, oh, if it keeps happening, like, oh, it's going to happen again tonight, so you get stuck into it, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. It's like the snowball effect,
Yeah.
But like I said, just writing the song and talking about your feelings definitely helps. And I think what I love about writing this kind of stuff, and our last single kind of talks about that too. Nathan can talk about it more because it was his experience, but he suffered from insomnia, or still does, from a head injury from back like sophomore year, and just being able to write about like the hopelessness or the anxiety around that, and writing about the anxiety of just waking up with like some kind of panic attack in the middle of the night. I think my biggest goal, and I think Nathan's goal too, I don't want to speak for Nathan, but it's just showing people that they're not alone if they're experiencing that too. And I think where in tough times for everybody, like listening to music, even if it's not like the most uplifting thing, just seeing that somebody else is also going through it and has come out on the other side, it just makes you feel like you're not alone. So that's kind of like that's kind of why we try to write about these kinds of topics, even if they're not the most uplifting in that way, just to kind of show like, yeah, like, we're with you,
Yeah.
Getting messages from people, because like I said, we started this, we try to talk with this, no expectations, make what we want to make, kind of like figure out our stuff, and release what we're proud of when we're proud of it. And then actually getting messages from people saying like, I listened to your song and I like really resonated with it. I've also gone through like the insomnia and sleepless nights and stuff. It's really changed how I see like a lot of things. I don't know.
Yeah. So what band or artist influence do you think you can hear the most on this track, if any?
Benny.
Oh, that is a great question. Nathan, do you want to take that?
For 3 a.m.? I don't know. I feel like because I do a lot of the instrumental work, and then at least the progressions and stuff like that. So instrumentally, I was kind of like inspired by, so Matt makes playlists all the time, and I try to listen to everything, but I am mostly into like the alternative rock, like stuff like that. And he has this like acoustic indie playlist, and I would just put that on random. And I was just, while I was doing work and stuff, because I feel like that's a lot easier than like pop punk or like heavy stuff. So I would just do some work to that, and then like hearing the different guitars is kind of how I was influenced. So kind of just like the acoustic indie that's not really, I don't know, the instrumentation of it was based around like that kind of stuff, and like folk too, kind of. But
yeah, one of my favorite artists, and they still are. I haven't listened to them a lot lately. I'm waiting for their next album to drop, but I love Young the Giant, and I tried to. I feel like some of the way I sang this track and kind of wrote the lyrics, or like how the cadence was, I kind of feel like was inspired by some of their tracks. But I mean, I don't know. We've gotten like comments like, "Oh, this has a lot of Latin American influences and stuff." All sorts of stuff like that. Like, we never thought about that. So I don't know. We both listen to so much different music that it's hard to pinpoint like one influence. But I think I've always tried to. I love Young the Giant sound, and I've definitely always felt like inspired by their lyrics, especially too. Just almost like it's got a lot of meaning and like a lot of simple words or lyricism or something like that.
Yeah.
And we kind of, I was inspired by that in the writing process, at least, because they definitely, they're very poetic in their lyrics. So I tried to work with that, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Solid. All right. So this one should be super quick. Off the top of your heads, I want you to describe this single for new listeners in 3 words. Both of you have to do it.
Nathan, you go first.
No, you go first.
No,
okay,
you go first.
No, you go
No,
first.
you go first.
All right. Not digging up bodies. I don't know. Like,
We'll hyphen those words.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's 4 words. Sorry.
We'll hyphen one of
Sorry,
them. It's
Nathan.
okay.
You give a better one. You got.
Nighttime panic attacks.
There you go.
That's good.
That's good.
Oh, I want to redo. Oh man.
No, you're stuck with it.
Oh.
Oh, man.
3 words. Just spits out 4 words.
4 words.
Sorry.
It's
I'm
fine, it's
sorry.
So, in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while going through the single?
So what we wanted to do with this single in particular was kind of tell the story of like the first, I want to say like 30 seconds are supposed to kind of feel and sound like you're still asleep. And then the line jolt awake is when you're actually awake and in that panic or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the end of the track kind of goes back to that. So you start drifting back to sleep. That's when the alarm clock kind of goes through. So it's almost like that process of the actual being asleep, waking up at 3 a.m., and then falling asleep right right when you have to wake up for work at a restaurant the next day. But it's kind of like that kind of story. And we've gotten a lot of kind of with the same comments and same vein as like the Latin American influences. We've got a lot of people that's like, oh, this is a really fun song, very beachy vibe. Maybe that's with the music video too. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, I don't know, it sounds, it's very upbeat, but behind that upbeatness is kind of those darker undertones, right? But really it's the cadence and the tempo is supposed to almost mimic or represent that like the heart racing in a panic attack or something like that, you know?
Okay.
Wow. That's cool. That's
I like it.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
We wanted to write it. So once I read the lyrics, I said, I want to do an intro to this to represent before you wake up. And then I want to create an outro, which he hadn't written yet. He kind of just wrote the basic, like from the first line to the end of the last chorus.
Yeah.
But I thought it would work super cool if we had the sleep and then had the falling back asleep.
Right.
So it's literally a night. Like you're asleep, you wake up at 3 a.m., you go through this panic attack, you slowly start falling back asleep, and then you wake up again. So writing it as a story, we wanted to like take people through that with us kind of thing.
Yeah, it's almost like Greatest Hits by Water Parks.
Fucking banger.
Oh my God, so true.
To that right before we got
Literally,
in this call.
yeah. Fuzzy.
Nice.
Love it. So is this single leading up to anything bigger? Album, EP, collection of singles, mixtape? Do people still do those?
Mixtape.
We just interviewed someone to put out a
I think-
mixtape.
Oh, yeah. We're still one of them.
You know, I kind of want to
we
reframe
have-
it as a mixtape. Can we do that, Nathan?
We should. We have about 10 songs written and demoed completely. And then they're in different stages, but we definitely want to release a collection of them and just put it out there and just see what happens. As I was saying, we have another single that we have done except for vocals, and we want to put that out by the end of the summer, midsummer, as soon as it gets mastered.
Oh no.
We lost you.
Did he
again.
lose his AirPods? All right.
We lost you
I can
again.
finish this sentence.
Okay.
Go for it.
Go
All
for
right.
it.
It'll be like that. Oh, yeah, I'll finish the sentence. So basically we have, like Nathan said, we have like 10 songs we're demoing, waiting to master. We'd love to release something by the end of the summer. We have a couple singles that we are looking to release before that full EP mixtape album. Like I said, leaning towards mixtape now after you guys mentioned that. Cool. But yeah, we have a lot of different sounding tunes, different sounding tracks. I know 3 a.m. does not sound like Better for Me at all. Our last single before that. So we're hoping to kind of genre bend a little bit on there.
Right.
I'm particularly excited about our closing track, but I won't say too much about that. Nathan knows what I'm talking.
It's can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I will spoil the secret. We
Okay.
one night we were burnt out of writing our own stuff. So we played our huge playlist that we made on random. And the first song that played was Gary's song from SpongeBob. So we opened a completely new file and started from scratch and recreated the entire song. And we are going to end our debut release with that.
All right.
With Gary's song.
Yes.
Wow. I love it. That's the best way to do it.
So where do you guys see the band in the next 5 years?
I'll take this one. I'm not sure how what's going on with Matt's internet right now, but we're mostly focused on this release, and then we're going to take it from there because we're both planning on going back to school and then kind of meeting up for summers and recording and then releasing and then kind of doing that process until we graduate in a few years.
Okay.
So we're really just hoping to create something that we're proud of and that resonates with other people. Whoever ends up finding it, whoever our promotion gets to, if it resonates with them and we're proud of it, we'll be happy.
All right.
Okay.
I like that.
It's very wholesome. All right. Solid.
Yeah, Nathan, good answer.
So if you guys could write any song in the entire history of songs and take credit for it, which song would you write?
Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day.
That was so fast.
So true. That's a good one.
That is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's tough.
That's a typical reaction.
I feel like this is also very cliched, but I want to say like Bohemian Rhapsody. That song was probably like that's a song that probably got me really into music when I was in like 5th grade, and either that or like Weird Al Yankovic's Amish Paradise or something like that. One of the two. Both masterpieces.
Honestly, yeah. Both on the same level.
Exactly.
So for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
That's good. Go ahead, Nathan.
Well, I know Matt's drink is going to be seltzer, and I think he knows what mine's going to be as well. So
yeah, Nate. Let's do. Okay, Nathan would have apple juice and probably like a little salad with rice, maybe some chicken put on top, and what else? Some like crumpled up or like crushed up tortilla chips, I think. And the chicken has to be in an air fryer. That's what I would say, Nathan.
I only ate one meal for like a year when I was living with them, and I've been made fun of every day since. So that's where that came from.
Okay.
But Matt's is going to be a plain cheeseburger because we will go. His parents will like once a year. His parents will like take us to a nice restaurant just to like because we were like taking care of the house, all this other stuff, and no matter how fancy the restaurant is, he will get a cheeseburger, and it is so infuriating.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm going to defend myself. All right, listen, Nathan, that's a good answer, but I would say double chalupa box with a seltzer. Double chalupa box and Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
That's my last supper.
Can I ask what flavor that seltzer is?
Ooh.
Well, I'll go by the fact of the one I have next to me that I've been like resisting to drink this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'm a monster. It's just plain seltzer.
Oh.
But I guess if it was my last one, maybe lemon lime, go crazy.
Taste, exactly. Don't go too crazy.
Too crazy.
Since it seems like
we make fun of him the same way because he drinks probably 6 or 7 seltzers a day, and it's disgusting. Me too. And he should stop.
What?
Yeah, well,
seltzer's the best. What are you talking about?
He's drinking original, like just a plain seltzer right now. Like they could kill you just by running electrical currents through the water that they give you.
This is true,
and like it would taste the exact same.
Yeah, the reason why I'm actually on death row is because of my crimes against humanity and ingesting only plain seltzer.
Yeah, it's just fucking static in the water, dude.
Right.
So if you guys could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
You guys have good questions. Bikini Bottom. Oh, dude, I got my Krusty Krab thing on. I want to say that just to divert from that. I'll say Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice reaction, Nathan. Yeah, thank you. And
Now I'm hurt.
So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we have spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
I'm gonna go with cyan. I like cyan.
Ooh, cyan's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a light blue, but not too like neon, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Taste.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
I
sure,
guess,
yeah,
take a look. If you guys want to take a look at our music video where we aren't burying a dead body, check it out. We had a lot of fun shooting it. Give the song a listen. Keep an eye or an ear open for our new singles that we're hoping to drop this summer. Yeah, Nathan, you got anything to add?
Yeah, there's all our socials are Ron's Car Official, so you can check us out there.
All right.
And I would say keep listening to Good Noise podcast. I'll plug you guys. I congratulations on season 4, episode 20. By the way,
Thank you.
It's a big
Thank you.
big landmark. I know you mentioned that you're on your way to season 6, episode 9.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go ahead and plug that. I know it's gonna be a good one.
Thank you.
I'll be listening for sure.
I hope we get to
Thank you.
trash on 21 Pilots in that episode as well.
Oh my
Nice.
god, yeah.
You know, maybe
What-
that'll be around the time they release their next album.
Their
The-
next
the
album.
real
The
one.
the one
The
that
real
isn't
one.
Dima propaganda. Yeah.
Trench 2. Trench 2.
Exactly. Oh god.
All right. Well, thank you for now. This guys, it's been Ron's Car, and we're the Good Noise podcast.